Here I'm using my DIY tool post. I'll leave a link to the video which will show you how I made it in the description of this video. I've chosen some Forstner bit, a Forstner bit that will go in this tool post using the bushes of the Axminster drill guide. Again, I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to drill 4 holes. It doesn't matter what Forstner bit you use, it all depends on how you want to adapt the sizes after you've seen this video, if you do decide to take up the project. I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't allow enough projection of the Forstner bit through the drill guide, so it didn't go all the way through the centre of the mahogany blank. So I've had to relocate the holes in relation to the Forstner bit and project the Forstner bit further so it goes past centre. One small advantage of this mistake is it left a square rod of mahogany right in the centre of the blank, which could be a nice feature for some later ornaments I decide to do, so I'll bear that in mind. Here I'm just using my normal vision to match up the size of the radius of both sides of the blank. I think your eyes are good enough for this. I don't think it's necessary to measure it. One measurement I do want to take is making sure that the hole is in the centre of the length of the blank, so I'm measuring the distances at each end. As with most prototypes, you always hit a position where you say to yourself, God, I wish I'd done that, and this is a case in point. I wish I'd left a spigot so I could grip it in the chuck, which I haven't done. But the beauty of a stab centre is I can relocate the object on centre, and there's enough friction and drive for me to use the Forstner bit in the tailstock. I'm making sure I don't go through the wood with the Forstner here, because the spring on the stab centre will push the wood away and have it rattling all over the place. But at least I've got a hole now that I can use to mount it in the chuck. On small sizes, I often prefer to use a screw chisel to reduce a square to a cylinder. It doesn't pull the wood away, and when you've got something such a small diameter, the last thing you want is a splinter that can go deep and you can't turn it out. So I use the screw chisel. It gives me a smoother finish instead of a roughing out gouge. I'm using the record power Versalock chuck jaws here. It's a lot quicker changing jaws, but you just got to be careful that the screw that holds them to the chuck you don't unscrew it too much and it comes off and you lose it in your sawdust. So you always fiddle about so it just slides on. I don't like to take the screws out totally, but I've got to watch it here. But yeah, they're a lot quicker. I'd say perhaps increases the speed by about 3 times in changing jaws. I got carried away drilling the 11mm hole. No problem. I'll start another finial later on. I'll use the the blank for this finial to hold the blank, the mahogany blank, to finish off the holes. Well, that's one hole drilled through. I can remount it again and finish off the hole that I'd started so that I could mount it on the jam chuck. So I've got 2 holes at either end all the way through. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up both ends using the screw chisel. I'll use up to 500 grit abrasives now. I put it on the higher speed because of the holes in the foam. I don't know what you call it. I don't want to trap my fingers in it. Obviously the slower the speed, the more chance I have of trapping my fingers, so the higher speed makes it relatively safe to sand the whole object. I'm just measuring the wall thickness here so that I can make the same length of the tenons that go inside it. I'm going to make a little bell out of some wood I have knocking around. I haven't a clue what wood this is, although it's hard and brittle. I'm making the bell's diameter just slightly smaller than the holes that it'll be going into. I'm hoping that I'll be able to rotate it inside the form, well, as you'll see later in the video. The diameter of the bell is about 28mm diameter, so I'm making the length of it also 28mm. I've staggered the holes and stopped drilling them on the same axis. There's a tendency to weaken the wood. It's a case of now cleaning up the inside and getting all the little fibres off and creating the shape of a bell on the outside. Well, the rod I put in the drill chuck didn't work to hold it in position. When I parted it off, it still flew off anyway. No damage, thankfully. Just making a little jam chuck now to hold the bell so I can finish the top. I think I'll go up to 600 grit for the bell. Took a bit of fiddling, but I managed to get it into the hole of the form. Now let's start with the finials. I'm making another blank for the finials. Previously I drilled the hole too deep, the 11mm hole too deep. I just wanted a shallow hole to fit the light. This is a handy book to have in the workshop. I just select or cherry pick from the book. It doesn't have to be a total shape, just individual shapes, anything that appeals to me, and then I'll see if it works out scale wise when I come to turning. I could do a drawing, I suppose, but it's a strange thing about making things physically off a sketch. It's not quite as you see it on the sketch. When you've got it three-dimensionally and you look at the proportions, they don't often correlate to the sketch that you've done. And unless you sketch to scale, and then the whole new ball game is learning a computer program and etc. Unless you're familiar with Fusion 360 or SketchUp and its quirks, it's I prefer to do it this way. It's a lot quicker, and I can always modify the shapes as I go along, so I'm happy with just doing a steady progress on this and just adapt the scale to suit the project in hand. A little crack there. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know whether to leave it or make a feature of it or try and cover it up. Anyway, I'll sort that out near the end of the project. I just want to get on with it and see if I like the shape. Well, I have decided to change it. The shapes are alright, top and bottom finials, but they're a bit big, bigger diameter than I would like. So I'm going to reduce the diameter, maintain the shapes and the profile, but reduce its diameter so it looks a bit more delicate. It looks a bit clunky at the moment, more like a baby's rattle than a Christmas ornament, so we'll see what it looks like. I've shortened the length of the top finial here, but I need to reverse it in the lathe. So I'm making a little centre point in a piece of scrap wood left over from what I've just parted off, and make like a little concave dimple so that I can locate it and centralise it automatically, and then I can resize the tenon to fit into the mahogany form. I think the sizes are about right, but if any of the viewers here are watching it and it's still a little bit bulky, let me know in any of your comments. I'll be happy to receive criticism. I'm not an artist. I'm a practical draftsman and wood turner. So if you think it's not aesthetically pleasing, please let me know in the comments. I've just had some polyurethane varnish delivered from Amazon. 3 tins for about just under £7. I'm going to try this on this project. I use melamine normally, but it takes a while to it takes a while to cure, and if you use spray, which I need to do in this particular project, it doesn't dry very quickly for some reason. The liquid does, but the spray doesn't. And so I thought I'd try polyurethane varnish and see what it's like. I don't normally use it, but I'll keep my fingers crossed. I need to hold the little bell in a little jam truck I'm going to make again out of some scrap mahogany. It's just to hold it really while I spray the polyurethane varnish on it, and obviously to sand it down I think I'll go to a high grit when I'm sanding the little bell. Well, now for the fiddly bit. I'm going to put a clapper in the bell. It's not going to make much of a noise, but I'm going to put some children's glitter, plastic glitter crystals, and see if that can deflect the beam of light coming from underneath into different colours. It's an experiment. I haven't tried it yet, and I'll show that at the end of the video to see if it's a success. For the making of this clapper, I'm going to be stopping and starting the lathe a bit to see what sort of diameter I need. On the big lathe it takes a long while for it to slow down, whereas on this small lathe it's pretty quick at stopping. So if I want to do any fiddly bits, it's ideal for this. So I'm going to divide the circumference of a cone into 3 and flatten the top of the cone to accept these 4 crystals, 1 at the top, at the tip, and 3 round the circumference. Off camera I drilled a small hole, not all the way through, at the back to glue the cord to, and then I'll do the assembly, the full assembly, at the end of this video. Well, partial success. I didn't get a display of colours, but it did increase the sparkle of the light going into the little bell. So I'm happy at that, and that'll do for a nice Christmas ornament for someone. You can always make smaller ones if you want. I hope it inspires you to make some of your own. And make smaller ones or larger ones, it all depends. I think I could have made it a bit smaller and a bit more delicate, but as I said, most of my work are prototypes, so they can always be improved on. Anyway, all the best to you all, and I'll see you in my next Christmas, well, it might not be a Christmas project. It's something I have for decorating a lidded box using my DIY tool post. Well, I think that's it. I might come up with another idea to use those little lights. I think they're an inspiration for me to do some more. I might be able to shove another video with a Christmas ornament just before Christmas, but I don't want to leave it too late, or else it'd be too late for you to make one for Christmas. So I'm in two minds about that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe and click the like button. I want to try and get my viewing up a little bit, so my algorithm makes an impression on YouTube. So take care, and thank you again for watching. All the best to you all, and happy Christmas.